Okay, so now let's go ahead and create level 3. This one's a little bit more complicated, but the process is going to be the same. Over here on the right, let's right click and say add layout. And again, we're going to say add event sheet. We want to have each of these levels to have their own event sheet. So click that first button. And then just like the others, we're going to set this to 354 by 480, so it's the same size. And then we're going to go ahead and drag a few of these objects over that we're going to reuse, just like the last time. So let's bring the level over. Let's bring the score over. And then we're not going to use the next one because this is the last level. If you want to put another level in, you can. And then let's bring instructions over. Now for the instructions, let's just go ahead and change that while we're here. And let's say match the boys and girls up by dragging them up or down with the mouse. Make 15 matches. All right, and then that wraps just a little bit, so we'll make that a little bit bigger. We'll center that up. All right, and then let's relabel this to say level 3. Okay, so this one is going to use a couple of fish, and we're going to have some animation for them. So let's scroll up. Let's create an insert sprite. And then down here in the animated frames, let's go ahead and do import. And you'll have to download these files. They're in the fish directory. So then you can download and select all of the blue fish. And then we're going to just delete the first frame because it's blank. And then if you click here, and you may need to move some of these little windows around, you can set that loop to yes, so that it loops over and over again. Close that. Now do the same thing for the girl fish. So we're going to go in, we're going to say import frames, we're going to pick the pink fish. Now you'll notice that they're facing different directions. That's on purpose so that they can swim towards each other. So then set that to loop to yes. All right, so make sure you've got event sheet number 3 open, not 2 or 1. Make sure you open number 3, and you can double click on it right here if it's not already open. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spawn our boy fish to go from left to right, but we only are going to spawn them across the bottom third of the screen. So we're going to use the same technique as the falling hearts earlier on level 2. So we're going to say every X seconds, and we're going to use the random function again. We're going to use 0.2 to 1, and then the action is going to be system create an object. We're going to create the boy object, and the X value we're going to leave the same because we're going to always spawn him on the one side, but we're going to change the Y axis so that he's only on the bottom part. So we're going to use 0 here and on the bottom, and we want to create a random number because we don't want them to always be in the same spot. So we're going to say random, and the value here is going to be 280, comma, and then the very, very bottom of our screen, which is 480. So 280, comma, 480. Now we're going to do the same for the girl. So we're going to go system, every X, and then we're going to use that same random, 0.2, comma, 1. Oops, 0.2, comma, 1. And then we're going to say system, create object. We're going to pick the girl. Now this time, we want her to spawn all the way to the right, so her value will always be the same, and it's going to be 850. And then the Y, we want her to spawn on the very top third. So we're going to use random, and we're going to use the value 0 through 190. All right, so random 0 to 190. All right, so now we want to add some behaviors to our fish, and they both get the same behaviors. So we're going to add bullet so that they move. Then we're going to add destroy outside of layout because we don't want them to keep going once they get to the edge. We're also going to add sign because we want them to make a move up and down. And then we're also going to add this drag and drop right here. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want to be able to have the user drag the fish up or down so that they can touch each other. So now let's go ahead and adjust some of these properties. We're going to actually set the speed, because we don't want them to go too fast. We're going to set the speed to 80. So set that to 80. We're going to set the acceleration to 10 because we want them to speed up a little bit when they go across the screen. Then on the sign, we're going to go ahead and leave that as horizontal, or I'm sorry, we're going to change that to vertical. And then we're also going to change the sign to triangle. That way they'll go up and down like this, as opposed to just real smooth. So they'll get a little bit of a jerk in there, and it'll just be a little bit more random. And then the last thing we're going to set is on the drag and drop. We only want the user to be able to do it vertically, so they can only go up and down. They can't slide them left and right. So make all of those changes to both the boy and the girl. And then one more, the last change we want to make is that we want to set the set angle under bullet to no. So you can set that on both the boy and the girl to no. If we don't do that, what'll happen is our fish that's going, the girl fish will actually be upside down when it's going across the screen, and we don't want that. So let's set that property to no. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test it and see what happens. All right, so you'll see the boys are working fine and the girls are actually going the wrong direction. And the reason for that is that the bullet behavior is by default going to the right. So let's go ahead and fix that by right here on the girl. When we spawn the girl, let's go ahead and set her angle of motion. Set angle of motion, which is a bullet behavior. We're going to set that to 180. So now she'll go the other direction. She'll go the right direction. So let's go ahead and test that, and you'll see she should now come across the screen. Excellent. All right, now let's keep track of our score. So we're going to go ahead and create another global variable. So right-click, global variable. This one we're going to call matches because it's the number of times you've made a girl and a boy fish match up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set up a collide event so that when the two collide, we keep track of the score. So let's go ahead and say, and we can pick either the boy or the girl. So let's pick the boy. And then we're going to say on collision with another object, and then we'll pick the girl. And then on the collision, we're going to destroy the boy because we don't want him there anymore. And then we're going to destroy the girl. And then we're going to add one to our score. So we'll do system, add 2, and we want to make sure we pick the right one. So we're going to do the matches, and we're going to add 1 to the score. All right, in order to see the score, we need to update the score value on the screen. And we're going to do this just like we did the others. We're going to say system, every tick, and then we're going to say score right here. We're going to say set text. Now we're going to use the matches variable because that's the one we're using for this event sheet. All right, now we can go ahead and test that, and we'll see if we can keep track of the score. Now the way the sign behavior is working is they're occasionally going to hit each other on their own, but what we want to do is we want to have the user drag them down. So you'll see now our score is adjusting and the fish are destroyed. All right, I think we need to add some particles so that we can see them when they collide, they can shoot some hearts out. So let's go back to the layout. We can reuse the particles from before, so locate particles and drag it back on the screen, and we'll just put it up here so that it doesn't show up when we start the game. Now on the event sheet, right here where we have the collision, we can go ahead and just say either fish. We'll say boy, spawn another object, and we'll go ahead and pick the particles. All right, so now when they collide, we should see the hearts explode. And you can see we can drag these down. There we go. So now let's just do a few final polishes. We'll add a background, so go back to your layout. Let's create an object. We're going to go ahead and use a sprite just like we have been. And then I've created a level 3 background. which is a little bit of an ocean scene. And then you can go ahead and line that up. This one you'll need to stretch just a little bit to fit on the screen. And then because it's on top, we'll just, again, right click, Z order, send to bottom. All right. All right, and then the last thing that we need to do is we need to have a success screen indicating that you've won and you've done your 15 matches. So what I thought we would do here is just display a happy Valentine's Day. So what I've done is I've provided another sprite. So let's go ahead and insert a sprite. And this one, let's just put way down here at the bottom so it's not on the screen. And then you can load in this one image that says Happy Valentine's Day. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this off the screen so you can't see it. So it'll go right down here. And then when you match your 15 fish, we'll actually move this up on the screen so that you see it. Now on the event sheet, we're going to go ahead and check that wins condition. So let's add an event, and we're going to say system compare variable, and we're going to compare matches. Make sure you select the right one. And we're going to say greater than or equal to, and then I did 15 since that's what our message said. So if you collect greater than 15, then we're going to say this you win. I didn't label it, but it's this one here. And then we're going to say set position. And then you can use the value of 425 by 230. And that's about the middle of the screen. All right. So then it'll go ahead and just move that up to the top. And that's it. Let's give it a try. All right, we've got our background. Let's go ahead and move some of these fish down. All right, and there you have it. Now we didn't stop the game, so it's going to continue to move forward. It just says Happy Valentine's Day, and these will continue to move. And there you go. Created the whole 3 levels, completely different games, all inspired by you guys from last week. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.